Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found. And of course, taped live at the Twitch at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. Wildly fun episode of AEW's Dynamite tonight.
Yep.
Headlined by the main event, Scorpio Sky getting that TNT title back from Sammy Guevara. They've been sort of going down the sort of path of him with the face turn and all the men of the year there with Lambert and all that.
Yeah.
Sort of pivoting with the Sammy. I mean, I like this, Sammy and Ty. Crowd wants to boo them.
Yeah.
Nobody likes two people who are happy. And so they're booing them. And so they're bad guys.
Yeah.
And so you got Scorpio Sky, who everybody naturally loves. And you and I have been saying for a long time, him and Paige are natural good guys. They should be good guys.
Well, I think Ethan Page could be a really good heel. I just think the way they have cast men of the year in terms of putting up with Dan Lambert, that just wasn't working.
Right.
I like Scorpio Sky a lot, and like he seems like an inherently likable dude.
Yeah.
So I can believe him as a heel, but yeah, I mean, as a face, sky's the limit. It feels like,
Yeah. That's a really good point. I think that both guys can do either one. For me personally, we've had this discussion before.
I've never seen Ethan Page's vlog, so
it's the thing where, for people who don't know what we're talking about, we've had this discussion where why is it you can buy somebody as a heel or a face? I'm sorry, or as a heel. If you've and other people maybe not. And we came maybe to the conclusion, perhaps, that
first impression.
So, for example, I can accept Adam Cole as a heel, even though I've literally met him. He's the nicest guy you'd ever meet, because the first time I ever laid eyes on him, he was a bad guy.
Yep.
First impression, right?
Yep.
And then I see later on, oh man, he's a real sweetheart. But then it doesn't matter because that first impression is ingrained. Ethan Page, who's terrific. A wonderful wrestler, an awesome entertainer.
And can be a great heel, yeah.
All the stuff I saw with him before I saw anything was his vlog, was these little interviews he did. He is a wildly charismatic, nice guy. Then I see him as a heel, and I have a problem buying it. Just that's me personally.
So you see, the first thing I've seen of Ethan Page was when he was in the
North.
No, even before that, when he was in the very first Battle Royal at All In.
Oh, okay, sure.
That's the first I ever saw of his work.
Yeah.
And he was healing it up, and that was my first impression of Ethan Page.
So all that aside, now that we've gone on that tangent.
Yes. So I was ecstatic to see Scorpio Sky win this. I was not expecting it. I thought Sammy would win again, and he would go on to run with the title. Seemingly that's not going to happen now. This isn't the last time these two are going to cross paths, because we're going to get this mixed tag match with Sammy and Ty taking on Scorpio Sky and Paige Van Zant. Maybe it'll happen at Double or Nothing. Maybe it'll happen before then. I don't know. Since it's Paige Van Zant's debut, and if she's signed with the company, I would kind of expect
should be a pay-per-view,
that her team will win, her and Sky will win, and hopefully that'll be the end of that feud between Scorpio Sky and Sammy, and Scorpio can have a good long reign with the belt, because he deserves it. This moment tonight was great. Him getting the belt back as a face, the crowd 1,000% behind him.
Absolutely.
And to hear that pop, to hear the crowd chanting for him was awesome. Now that they've introduced Frankie Kazarian into this thing, though, that potentially could drive a wedge between Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page and Dan Lambert. And there's your next story for Scorpio Sky, or a story down the road for Scorpio Sky after he's done with this feud with Sammy.
Yeah. You know what, man, I will say this. There might be complaints out there about hot potatoing a title. I think that the TNT title is perfect for that stuff. They don't nail it all the time. Sometimes they do confusing things with it. But I do appreciate that it's the kind of thing that Tony Khan can look at and say, hey, you know what? This isn't working. Let's go the other way. Let's fix this mistake, or what have you. And I like that. I'm totally fine with that, because the bottom line is, in any given match, you can tell a story that is compelling and make the title mean something. In other companies, maybe a title being changing hands this often might not mean a lot. But in this match alone, just in the context of this match, you had a good guy, you had a bad guy, and you had people going nuts for the good guy getting the win here. And Sammy Guevara. I've said this a million times before. As a character, he doesn't do much for me. He kind of never has. As a wrestler, he is one of the top guys out there. Put on a stellar performance. I wish and I know he'd be like, fuck you for this. I wish he just dialed back a little bit. Like that bit that he did, I'm crazy. I'm going to do something crazy off the ladder. And his shoulder just went 30 miles an hour, bang into the mat.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, that could have been real bad.
That looked like it could have been really bad. But that being said, the man's a professional. I assume he is not going to take unnecessary risks. I'd like to think. How old is he again? Like 25 or something like that?
26 or something like that. He's in his 20s. Yeah. He's still a young dude.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's peak intelligence at that age. No, look, I'm talking about myself. And,
all right.
And I know you probably say the exact same thing. Nobody's really smart in their 20s. But so hopefully he takes care of himself, because this kid is doing crazy shit in the ring.
Seemingly every week too.
And it is compelling wrestling when he's in there. When he is one of the few guys, when he's got a microphone, I'm like, I do not care about this guy. It's rare that there's a guy who's like, I don't care one bit about this guy. But they say, hey, he's going to be in a ladder match. Okay, I'm all in.
Yeah,
Give me that.
I'll watch that.
Give me that.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Speaking of titles, we got our title bout confirmed, our AEW Championship title bout confirmed for Double or Nothing. In fact, it will be CM Punk versus Hangman Page for the AEW Championship. We kind of saw this coming. Nonetheless, it's a huge development. Punk's first title shot since coming back to wrestling after 7 years away from the business. I still expect Page to go over, but the back of my mind, Punk winning only to walk into Chicago to face MJF for the title at All Out and have MJF beat him for it in Chicago would be pretty massive. That would be all the heat on MJF. I don't think it's going to happen, but the back of my mind is a possibility it could.
I would be, I don't mean to put anybody on the spot here, but like Tony Khan generally, I don't think would give us a big heat magnet for one of his pay-per-view main events.
Well, it wouldn't just be a heat magnet. It'd be a title match. It'd be MJF would win the title, and he's been doing like really good work for the better part of 3 years. It's not like it's some guy off the street they bring in to beat Punk to get heat in his hometown. This is MJF, man.
Yeah, but they only do like 4 pay-per-views a year. You can go into Chicago and have MJF. Boy, that's ballsy.
It would be ballsy.
Ooh.
It would be ballsy.
Yeah, I don't know if he's gonna. I don't know if he'd do.
No,
that.
I don't think he's gonna do it. Back in my mind, the possibility exists.
I mean, dude, he won the title in November.
Yeah.
It's been by that time, by Double or Nothing, it'll be
6
months. I think he'll probably end up going at the very least till Chicago. I could see MJF has a thing with Chicago. He beat Punk twice there. I could see MJF winning that in September in Chicago, maybe. But again, you're looking at a main event where like the most hated guy. But that's a big moment right there.
It is.
That's a big moment.
It's huge. It's pretty huge.
I don't know, man.
Because remember, I know MJF beat Punk twice in Chicago, but then he lost the dog collar match.
So let me ask you something.
What?
You're the son of a billionaire. You own a wrestling company that CM Punk is in.
Uh-huh.
What do you do? What would you do in this situation? You got Hangman Page, a guy you really like. What would you do?
I'd keep the title on Page because he's the future. Page is the future. I mean, it's cool.
You can always put it right back on him.
That's entirely possible too. But Page is the future. Tony Khan has brought in a lot of free agents, and it seems very rare that he deviates from whatever plan he may have because he's bringing in people. It seems like if he has a plan to do something, he sticks with that plan. Mm-hmm. And like we saw with Adam Cole, he just had Page beat Adam Cole twice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I know Tony Khan said he knew who his first 4 champions were going to be. Mm-hmm. Page is the last of those 4. And at the time he decided 3 years back that Page was going to be the 4th champion, he probably had no idea that Adam Cole was coming to his company. He had a plan in place to give Page probably a reign of decent length. And he said, all right, Adam Cole, you're going to have 2 title matches and lose both of them because I'm building up Hangman Page.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it'd be the smart move.
Yeah.
It kicked off with, we're not going to do we'll get to the recap here in a second, but the show did kick off with FTR versus FTR. We got our answer. We only got to hear FTR's theme song. It's based off of Midnight Express, based off of Chase. FTR versus FTR, Dax versus Cash.
Yeah.
And goddamn, I loved it. I could have watched. I know this is a one-time only thing.
Yeah.
But doesn't that kind of suck? Because I could have watched this for 30 minutes. I could have watched this a lot longer.
Well, here's the thing, Steve. You could get the video of this, and then you could watch it on a loop. You can watch it over and over and over and over, and for 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, the whole day. You could do that.
I mean, it's kind of not what I meant because that would be the same match ad nauseum.
You didn't specify, so.
But I appreciate you offering up the suggestion. That's awfully nice of you. I do actually have the video because I record all.
Yeah, I know. So I mean, you could do it. Just loop it.
Yeah,
loop it.
Terrific
it was a
match,
fantastic bout. Fantastic
Terrific
bout.
match.
They both came out. They did their entrance simultaneously through different tunnels. They both had matching like Heart Foundation inspired gear with like the Heart Foundation logo, their name. The Heart Foundation did in the 90s, late 90s, mid 90s when it was Brett, Owen, Bulldog, Pillman. It was a fantastic bout, and I'm sure people on social media are going to point out various nods to Brett and Owen throughout the match.
Yeah. Well, they got, from what I'm hearing from my sources is that they actually get paid bonuses for each callback they do. So that's why they just load these things up. They're actually the most well-paid.
Well, I think
wrestlers
CM
in
Punk
AEW.
might be the most well-paid wrestler in AEW. Because every one of his matches afterwards, like 2 days later on Twitter, he is like sequence for sequence from a Bret Hart match.
Well, yeah, that's why it's his contract only guarantees $35,000 a year. CM Punk's, but he does so many callbacks, escalators,
multipliers, if you will,
multipliers.
Because if he puts several moves together, he has like a sequence of moves. Multipliers, it escalates.
It multiplies.
Multipliers, yeah.
Exponential money.
Exactly.
Check this out, man. The Forbidden Door.
Oh man, this was great.
W. Morrissey. So another failed attempt by MJF and Wardlow. Wardlow, he's one of the very few people have kicked out of a blackout. And so he used the Moxley method of you kick out with the crucifix pin, like a backwoods.
Again, a reference bonus for Wardlow.
Right, exactly. But he gets the escalator, multiplier. And so he ended up winning, beating Lance Archer, who's big human being. And then MJF decides to offer 6 figures to W. Morrissey.
Yeah, he calls
somebody.
Least
he insinuated that it was pretty heavily.
He calls somebody on the telephone and says, hey, you interested in a match for 6 figures? All right, cool. And he says, hey, Wardlow, I got someone that's taller and stronger than you, and you can't teach that. So last I checked, Enzo is neither taller or stronger than Wardlow, so that only leaves W. Morrissey.
Well, taller, maybe not.
No, definitely not.
Although,
taller.
from what I understand, there's some surgery you can get. Stronger? Possible, given how jacked that guy is these days.
You know what? If you put Enzo next to Wardlow in the ring, Wardlow's probably a good 2-3 inches taller and probably about 40 pounds heavier.
Yeah, but have you seen Enzo?
I have. He is jacked,
swole,
but he's not he's not the size of Wardlow.
No, probably not. But again, surgery.
Well, let's take a quick break here to get a word from our sponsor, Blenders Eyewear. Fresh from the sandy beaches of San Diego, California, comes my new favorite sunglasses brand. I'm talking about Blenders Eyewear. Steve, check out these Ice Crush shades.
Whoa, those are cool.
I know. I got them to wear on my morning walks or I'm out running errands. They fit great, and they look even better.
I don't know if they look as good as my Stone Breakers, Larson. Blenders founder Chase Fisher started the company to create adventurous, mid-priced eyewear, and Blenders' team of in-house designers continue that philosophy by coming up with new styles, like orange polarized wraparounds. Think Bret Hart sunglasses, but orange, and tortoise shell frames with purple lenses.
Yeah, and unlike expensive big brand shades, Blenders are affordable while still offering the same cool factor as other leading styles, and Blenders has more than sunglasses. They also offer prescription glasses, readers, and blue lights, as well as a snow collection with goggles and accessories. So live life in forward motion with Blenders today.
To score 15% off your Blenders purchase, visit blenderseyewear.com and enter promo code RAWVIP. That's blenderseyewear.com, code RAWVIP for 15% off. Blenders, rocked with pride worldwide. And before we get back to the show, let's get a word from our sponsor, Upside. I got to tell you something, Larson. Every time I'm out getting gas or grabbing like food at a restaurant or something, I'm noticing that everything is more expensive. This inflation is really hitting me where it hurts, man.
Yeah, I hear you, Steve, which is why I started using Upside when I buy gas or I dine out, because Upside gives me cash back on those purchases, Steve. I've bought everything from gas to burritos. Yes, burritos, and with each purchase, I've gotten cash put back in my pocket to buy more burritos.
Right.
I have tried it. It really works, and it's great because it means I get cash back so I can buy more burritos.
More burritos. And Upside is easy. Just download the app from the App Store or Google Play, claim an offer on whatever you're buying, check in, pay as you normally would with a debit or credit card, and bang, you get paid. You can cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands.
And you can earn 3 times more cash back with Upside in comparison to credit card rewards or loyalty programs. So download the free Upside app and use promo code RAW to get $5 or more cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more. That's $5 or more cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more using promo code RAW.
And then, of course, we had Serena Deeb making Hikaru Shida tap out after a brutal
match. Great match.
Great match. Street fight. Philly street fight, which Brian Cage now knows where that takes place. So I really, in the pre-show, we were laughing about that year-old tweet of Ricky Starks. Yeah, it's pretty old, but I don't know why. I just saw it again the other day because they were bringing this up.
Yeah, no, I saw it too.
And it's just a funny. and you wonder why Brian Cage is nowhere to be found because of that tweet.
Yeah.
Serena Deeb. So Thunder Rosa was looking on at the TV watching this match, which usually is a good prognostication for who she's going to be fighting next. So yeah, it looks like Serena Deeb versus Thunder Rosa,
which has potential to be a really great feud.
Pretty good match. Jorge D in chat says, did Tony Khan extend Brian Cage's contract so Ricky Starks can dunk on him on Twitter some more? Oh God. Oh, it's so funny. Let's dive into this, man. Like we said, it kicked off with the Dax Harwood versus Cash Wheeler. Punk came out on commentary. It's the Bret Hart Appreciation Society right here. Yeah. All these guys love Bret. Unfortunately, Bret doesn't sign with WWE, so you could wear as much of his gear as you want. But I guess they're paying homage to his brother, to Owen. Anyways, like you said, of course, they came out together, separate tunnels, yeah, but under the same audio
Tron,
theme.
the same theme.
Yeah, the Tron, it's all the same thing, But yeah, no, this was good stuff. It was plenty of they like to wrestle. Number one, the first 5 minutes was just straight up like hip toss, arm drag, arm drag.
Fast, yeah.
Just so fast, yeah. A ton of that. Both these guys know each other better than anybody else. And so there's all sorts of for example, Dax thumbs Cash in the eye. Cash is like, "Whoa, dude, why'd you do that?" Dax is like, "Hey, man, I didn't mean to." Things get chippy. Mm-hmm. So this happens whenever it's like a brother versus brother type situation.
Yeah, and it goes from hip tosses and arm bars to pile drivers and slingshot power bombs.
Right? Yeah, superplexes and whatnot.
Yeah. The level of violence escalates as the match goes on. Down towards the finish, Cash is looking for a victory roll. Instead, Dax sits down on him to get a cover. That gets a 2. That's when Cash hits a pile driver. Dax kicks out. And then Cash is going for a top rope belly to back. In the air, Dax reverses to a crossbody. That gets him a 2 count. And then Dax crossbodies himself and Cash out of the ring. And Cash is selling knee. So they get back in to beat the 10 count. And Dax about to put the sharpshooter on Cash, but he hesitates.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't do it immediately.
It's his meal ticket too. Yeah, it's like he didn't want to mess up his knee.
Exactly. But then at the end, he does. He goes for it. Cash blocks, rolls up Dax, then Dax counters with a roll up of his own to get the win. And then immediately, it's just like emotions pouring out. They hug. It's a really cool moment.
I wonder if Dax is now going to incorporate the backwoods into his arsenal for finishers.
Could be.
After that, we had CM Punk. He left. So they noted that it was official, Punk versus Hangman. So Punk leaves commentary, grabs a mic, walks over to the stage. He says, hey, let's give a hand to Dax and Cash. He says, I've never been in a locker room full of more talent than an AEW. I'm like, dude, you've been in a locker room with Orton and Cena. Get out of here with that. Still, this is CM Punk talking, not me. He says, before I walked through the curtain for the first time in AEW, I asked myself, can I still do this? Now I can say firmly, yeah, I suppose I can. He says, I like Adam Page. I like Hangman. He says, and this is not to disparage anybody else he's been in the ring with in AEW.
Oh, he says, except for Eddie Kingston. I mistyped there.
Except for AEW.
Yeah, I know.
Except for Eddie Kingston, yeah. He says, he's like, I've just been warming up. He says, I can't promise a win, but I can promise I'll give you 100%. He says, without the fans, I don't come back. Without them, I don't do double or nothing. I'm not a gambling man. He says, but I'm going to bet on myself. He tells Paige, you're going to get a fight, buddy. And I'm going to keep on fighting until the wheels come off.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Then we get a Scorpio Sky promo. He says, no coincidence that he was one half of the first tag champs. He won the first Face the Revolution ladder match, was undefeated for over 400 days, won the TNT title only to get screwed in the second defense by Sammy Guevara and lose it. And he says, the Philly crowd isn't here to see Sammy win. This Philly crowd is here to see him beat Sammy's ass. There's only one face of TNT, and you're looking at him.
Yup.
Yeah, then we got Blackpool Combat Club versus The Factory. This match was surprisingly competitive at stretches. Early on, Wheeler Yuta was being isolated by The Factory until he hits QT with a German suplex. Once Bryan Danielson gets tagged in, it's just absolute destruction.
Mm-hmm.
He beats the living shit out of Aaron Solo.
Yeah, that was kind of awesome. In the end, they do the cool thing where Mox has the Bulldog choke. Danielson's got a submission of his own, and then Wheeler Yuta
is doing the elbows.
And then he rolls up Camarado for the win. That was cool stuff. Was this the debut of Wheeler Yuta's this theme music?
New theme?
Usually comes out with.
He did the pants last week with this Neutron. I think this is his Neutron. He's got the new
badass.
theme. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It sounds great. Like the theme is amazing.
It's cool. It's like the Tron matches his pants all blood splattered and stuff. And he's from Philly, so this is a hometown crowd. He got this win in. Got a great reception. Mm-hmm. After that, we had a Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, Tony Storm interview. Again, no physicality, no violence, no fighting.
Right.
So Britt says to Tony, you don't have to leave. There's no fighting. We just want to talk. And Tony says, fine, I'm not going anywhere. But I do want to introduce you to a friend of mine. In comes Ruby Soho. She says, Britt and Jamie, you always have something to say. So Owen would always say, enough is enough and it's time for a change. I could think of a change. I'd love to drop you right here, right now. And Britt says, no, we have stuff to do. I'm hungry. Hey, Ruby, why don't you go back to your home and catering?
Oh, oof. He said, I'm hungry. We're going to go hit up your home,
your home.
Catering.
Yeah. Oh, it was good.
Great. I wonder if they're going to have any of that Reese's pie there.
Yeah, it may be. I'm happy that they brought Ruby into this feud because it gets her on TV.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, absolutely. It's great. It's terrific.
And, there's stories now they're telling going into the Women's Owen tournament.
Yeah, that's good stuff. We had a Jurassic Express interview after this. So, like when you or I don't get enough sleep, and sometimes you and I, we can get a little grumpy, or like when I'm Snickers
That's
commercial.
That's me pretty damn often, man.
Yeah, but you're not really, like, it's rare that you're actually grumpy.
It's because I get to stay home. Remember when we used to go to the office and I'd be in at 9 in the morning? You could tell I did not want to be there because it was too early for me.
I used to hear those heavy sighs walking up those steps. That was Christian in this interview.
Yeah.
So Jungle Boy's like, I don't want to sound like a sore loser, but I knew I could have won that match, and I knew I could have won this match, but I lost my focus. I should have finished it when I had the chance. Christian says, you don't sound like a sore loser, you just sound like a loser. He says, but you're not a loser. And the whole crowd's like, damn.
I know.
And Jack just sits there and takes it. He says, put the title on your shoulder. What we have here is a teachable moment. Issues a challenge to any top 5 team, and then Hobbs and Starks steps in. Starks calls, what did he say about Luchasaurus? He got a smooth brain?
Uh-huh. And Jungle Boy almost started laughing.
Oh, man. He says, we're ranked anytime, any place. Let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah, Ricky Starks was great here. Great.
He's great.
He's great all the time.
always, especially when he's tweeting at Brian Cage about Philly street fights.
And next we had Lance Archer versus Wardlow. For the match, MJF's up in the luxury suite, and he is this again saying, hey, Lance Archer, he's my guy. He's going to decimate Wardlow. Wardlow, no music again. So Wardlow, of course, comes out handcuffed. He comes down to ringside. Security uncuffs him. Archer hits him with a senton off the apron, like as he's getting uncuffed. Like as soon as that second handcuff is off, bang. They get in the ring. Bell rings. Wardlow busts out a Hurricane Rana. I was not expecting that at all.
That was pretty rad.
Hits a spine buster. He's calling for a power bomb. Archer escapes that. He looks for a choke slam. Wardlow powers out. Archer puts on the claw. Wardlow powers out of that too. They do the double clothesline bit. Archer hits that old school moonsault. Hits a choke slam. Wardlow kicks out. Archer hits blackout. Wardlow kicks out of that. Rolls him up with the crucifix pin. Gets a 2. They're kind of fighting on the top rope. Wardlow headbutts Archer off the top, hits a swanton, gets a 2 there, and then he hits 4 power bombs to get the win.
God dang, dude. 4 power bombs in that big guy.
I know.
That was impressive. That was very impressive. After that, we had a sit down. So, obviously, the Jericho Appreciation Society, sports entertainer. So we got several tropes of sports entertainment.
This is virtually a contract signing.
It was like his contract signing, and then later on we got a fireball.
Yeah.
So this is Jericho Appreciation Society, and then Eddie, Santana, Ortiz. They all sit down, or this is supposed to be a contract signing thing. So Jericho Appreciation Society comes out. Of course, Parker says
Angelo Parker.
Angelo, yeah, says he yells at everybody for singing the song and stuff. He says Tony Khan gave us this time because he knows the sports entertainers are best for business. He says in order to have this sit down. We had to give our word to Mr. Khan. There will be no physicality in this ring tonight. So then Eddie and the guys come to the ring. They start tossing chairs sort of gently around. And Jericho says, the earth is 4.5 billion years old, and we're all lucky enough to be living in the Jericho era. He says, yet you deprived the people of Pittsburgh that opportunity last week when you got us banned from the building. He says, so I'm demanding that Eddie apologizes to us right now. And Ortiz says, hey, I got something better than an apology. And then he reaches into his pocket and he pulls out a middle finger. I mean, it's just his middle finger. It's not like somebody else's middle finger. Yeah. The Santana also, he pulls one out of his wallet. Again, it's his own, not somebody else found or one that he took. He says, Chris, your problem is that you turn your back on the 2 guys who know you the best. Garcia interrupts. Says, hey, all these threats, they don't mean a thing. It's not like you can hit us. It's not like you can hit. Come on, hit me. They're all trying to goad them into hitting him. He's like, give him his jaw and everything. And so they all start, as your notes here say, start peacocking Eddie, Santana, and Ortiz. And then Eddie says, hey, enough. I hate this crap. I hate this chair. I don't care about sports entertainment. It's garbage. He said, I told you, Jericho, we're going to get you. So let's fight. I don't care if it's 5-on-3. Let's go. Jericho says, you stupid son of a bitch. That's the problem, is that it's 5-on-3, but you're too stupid to realize it. So we're going to take you guys out one by one. We're putting a hit on all your asses. And that really sets Eddie off because when he hears hit, he tells Jericho, he says, you want to know what a hit means, partner? He says, in this world, that means you win things. And he starts putting gun fingers up to his head.
Yeah.
You put a guy in the ground. Then Jericho says, come on, hit me and get fired from yet another company. He says, this is your last chance, man. Nobody wants you. And Eddie says, no, I'm not going to hit you. When you say hit, it means you got to be prepared to put somebody in the ground. We've done it before. Are you prepared for that, Chris?
But he's like, he's at Jericho's face. Yeah, Jericho's
Chris
sitting down.
all the way back here.
Bended back with the look of just utter fear in his face.
Yeah. Earlier, it was great. Garcia made a crack about Kingston's perfectly
groomed eyebrows,
groomed eyebrows, which may or may not come into play next week, depending on how this fireball thing works out.
That's true. Like these little details.
Right, yeah.
Then we got a Sammy Guevara video package hyping up the ladder match. Then we got Serena Deeb versus Hikaru Shida. Early on, Deeb targeting the knee that she previously hurt on Hikaru Shida, going after that often and repeatedly. This match was crazy. He had all sorts of chair shots, kendo stick shots, powder to the face. Really solid bout. Really physical, fantastic stuff. Down towards the end, Sheeta's hitting... sorry, we back up a little bit. So Deeb puts Sheeta's leg into a chair. Goes up top. Sheeta escapes, hits Deeb with the chair, hits a Falcon Arrow off the top to get a 2. Sheeta hits some more kendo shots, starts choking Deeb out with it. And then Deeb is able to push off the bottom rope to roll up Sheeta. That gets her a 2 count. Sheeta kicks out. Sheeta hits another kendo stick shot. So Sheeta's looking for a power bomb. Deeb pokes her in the eye, hits a detox on a chair. Sheeta kicks out. So Deeb puts on the Serenity Lock. Sheeta gets the bottom rope, but of course, the street fight, no rope break. And the camera and commentary did a really good job selling that moment because, and Sheeta did too, because she reaches out for the rope. Aubrey says no, and Sheeta has a look on her face like, oh shit, this isn't going to save me.
Yeah.
So Deeb pulls her back in the middle of the ring, starts smashing her knee into a chair, and then locks on a cloverleaf. Sheeta has to tap, and they cut backstage. Thunder Rosa's watching everything.
Yeah. After that, we had an interview with MJF and Sean Spears. MJF's like, well, first of all, he mispronounces Lexi's name, the interviewer, and then he yells at her, so she goes. And he's like, I got a plan. And he says, Spears, give me your phone. He said, I got a plan, and it's a damn good one. And he calls somebody. He says, hey, big man. He says, how would you feel about making 6 figures for one match? And then you hear, oh, I think that sounds great. And then he says, hey, Wardlow, how would you feel going up against a man who is taller than you and stronger than you, and you can't teach that? So, yeah, it's going to be Morrissey.
After that, House of Black comes out. We're supposed to hear from them, but instead the lights come down. They come back up, and when they do, Fuego, he's laid out on the stage. So Malachi,
sad last days of Fuego.
Yeah, Malachi leans down next to him, says something, and then Buddy and Brody hold him up. Malachi is about to rip off his mask, and we hear Alex's voice.
Yeah.
And there's a figure dressed as him in the ring, so you assume that's him. And he says, it's sacrilegious to take a luchador's mask, but hey, you know what? We've been waiting. We told you not to mess with fire or something like that. We've been waiting.
You might get burned.
Yeah, we've been waiting for the right time to blindside you. So House of Black, they hit the ring. They're standing on the apron. Penta and Pac come out on the stage, but then Alex joins them.
Yeah.
And we cut to the ring, and then the figure who was dressed as Alex is Phoenix. And that was the level of enthusiasm that Excalibur had for the reveal.
I fully expected, because, about 10, 20 seconds into it, you kind of realize, Alex isn't showing his face. That's going to be Phoenix. He's back. Because, we had heard that his injury wasn't, as bad as it looked when it happened.
Yeah.
He would be back relatively quickly because there was no damage. And so we've been waiting for him to come back. AAA keeps on advertising him because I think they kept on expecting him to be ready.
Yeah.
And I think he's teaming with Vikingo this Saturday.
Yeah, on Saturday. So here's the thing. They did a shot of the ring, and they had House of Black there in the foreground. The background, you had Alex.
Yeah.
But he had his head down.
The entire... So this is a guy who can attack.
It's like, okay, this is Phoenix. Phoenix is returning. Yeah.
And so, Phoenix, he unmasks. And then Excalibur says, and there's Phoenix right there in the middle of the ring. Or something like that. It was so underwhelmed.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
So Phoenix starts swinging a shovel around at House of Black. They all duck it. Brody and Malachi, they get out of the ring. Buddy goes after Phoenix. He lays him out. Death Triangle takes out House of Black on the floor with some topes.
Yep.
Then we get an announcement. Swerve Strickland versus Darby Allin and Owen qualifier on Rampage. They had an interview next. Swerve, they're referred to as friends to introduce the interview, and Swerve says, calling us friends is a bit strong, more like rivals who beat the hell out of each other. He says, I'm really looking forward to turning Rampage into Swerve's house when I win. Darby says, hey, this is my house. I've been here since day one. I'm going to show Swerve why this tournament is my tournament.
Let's talk about this for a brief second. Darby's feud right now. It seems like Darby and Sting are about to get into a thing with the Hardys. It seems like that's going to be the match.
Apparently on Being the Elite, they've been teasing a Young Bucks Hardys thing.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Is that supposed to be the Double or Nothing match? Is so okay. So this is going one of two ways. Swerve. I hope Swerve wins this because I guess you could still do AFO. Trying to interfere with this. On the other hand, Swerve and Keith Lee. I mean, like maybe have they moved on from the Team Taz? Because Team Taz is coming after Luchasaurus.
Yeah, no, just last week on Rampage they had the promo where they weren't done with Team Taz.
Okay,
yet. So it's entirely possible that Team Taz could interfere and cost Swerve the match. I hope that doesn't happen. I want Swerve to win.
Yeah, Swerve has been losing. Like he's had 3 matches and he's lost 2 of them or something. I don't know if that's true, but I feel like he's been losing. Like he lost his first match.
He lost to Starks and he and Keith Lee lost that tag match.
Yeah, he needs to stop that. He needs to stop losing.
Yeah.
But then Darby's pretty powered up.
Darby can eat some L's. He can.
Darby's a pay-per-view guy. I don't know if he can. I don't know if he can lose here.
He can eat L's.
All right. I hope you're right, man. I want to see Swerve move ahead in this thing.
Same.
Yeah.
That's why I was saying Andrade should have won last week against Darby. Darby can eat L's. Andrade needs wins.
We had the Undisputed Elite versus, good Lord, get a look at this team here. The Pillmans, Brock Anderson. Poor Lee Johnson, who deserves better. And talk about a guy who deserves better, Dante Martin.
Yes, bummer to hear about his Darius apparently getting hurt again, according to.
So I know that there was an injury. Has Darius come out and said exactly what it is?
No.
I know he took some umbrage with people speculating.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully whatever that is, he's able to recover from. Because man,
so. He was out for a long time with that ACL tear or the knee injury.
I know.
He just came back and had a handful of matches and gets hurt again. That's a bummer. That's a real bummer.
I was happy to see that Lee Moriarty was nowhere near these guys. Dante needs to get out of that, but Lee Moriarty, glad he's safe.
Yes.
Wherever he is.
Yes.
I got my Lee Moriarty shirt today.
Oh, how's it look in person?
Oh, God, it's beautiful.
Yeah, he's a hell of a designer, man.
That's nuts. How can somebody be so talented in 2 things like that? Wrestling and designing cool shit. Pretty neat.
It's fantastic. So early on, Undisputed Elite, they're completely and utterly dysfunctional. And they eventually get their shit together during a picture-in-picture. Adam Cole, being a team captain, helps run interference so Bob Fish can get the upper hand on Brock Anderson. They isolate Brock for a while. Eventually, he tags in Lee Johnson. He's about to go on a run against Kyle O'Reilly. Young Bucks get in the ring, stereo super kicks to Lee Johnson, make the save for Kyle O'Reilly. He thanks them. And then Adam Cole starts directing traffic. Basically telling the Young Bucks, hey, do all this.
Yeah.
Do all this stuff. And they take out pretty much the entirety of the other team, save for Lee Johnson. And then Redragon and the Young Bucks hit Lee with a BTE trigger. Cole follows with the boom to get the win. And then they do the shirt thing. So when they came to the ring, Cole and Redragon had the Undisputed Elite shirts. The Young Bucks didn't. So Cutler hands them all their shirts back. And then Cole gives Matt and Nick Undisputed Elite shirts, and they put them on.
On a scale of 1 to 10, Larson, 1 being I don't know, what's the best shirt in wrestling history?
Well, shouldn't that be a 10?
1 is worst, 10's best. Yeah, 10. Yeah, on that scale.
So 1 is like the AJ Styles one. Looks like
Come on.
Yeah.
And then number 10 would be the NWO. The NWO's got to be top shirt, right?
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
That or Austin.
Where does this fall?
More towards the AJ Styles one. It's not quite that bad. It's just generic. It just looks really generic.
They need to stop doing gradients because all their shirts are digital. So like they're digital prints.
I know gradients don't really print well.
And like I remember that was my problem with the Inner Circle's first shirt is that the logo is whatever, but it was like dark blue and dark red.
Yeah, it doesn't pop.
And on a
at
black
all.
shirt, which is what you always say, it just doesn't pop.
I know. It makes the colors look really muted. I know what you mean.
Yeah. So this was kind of a fail in every respect.
Maybe it's supposed to be kind of lame though. Because these guys aren't going to be able to coexist.
Because this shit is not going to work. No. It's not going to work. No. Like, is this going to be? Are they still going to be a thing? Or are the Young Bucks going to wear this shirt past Double or Nothing?
No.
Sometimes they draw stuff.
That actually might be the match for Young Bucks at Double or Nothing is Young Bucks and Redragon.
Oh wow!
Could be. Then they do Young Bucks and the Hardys at All Out.
That could be. I wonder if the Young Bucks are going to stick around with him until Kenny. I don't know when Kenny's coming back. I wonder if they're going to do those trios titles before Kenny comes back, because who knows? They're setting up that entire trios.
I mean, at one point after this match, I think it was this match that Excalibur literally said, "We have a lot of great trios in AEW."
Yeah, right. Yeah. I wonder, like, maybe Tony Khan thought, okay, Kenny's going to be back at the beginning of the summer. Now, maybe not. Let's just go ahead and do this.
Yeah, that could be. So anyways, we go backstage with the disruption. Matt Menard says, "Hey, camera person, come with me." And they show that Jericho Appreciation Society has already laid out Santana Ortiz. And as the camera draws closer to Eddie Kingston, Jericho throws a fireball right in his face.
Sheesh. Yeah, man, those perfect eyebrows. Sad last days of his perfect eyebrows.
Well, I mean, I guess the upside is, though, the silver lining in that is that eyebrows grow back.
That is true. After that, we had a quick Samoa Joe versus Trent Beretta video package. They're going to have a Ring of Honor TV title match on Rampage. Also on Rampage, Keith Lee versus Colton Gunn. Ooh, Colton Gunn's going to get killed. Swerve versus Darby is going to be a great match.
Yeah.
Jade, Red Velvet, and Kiera Hogan versus Willow Nightingale, Trish Adora, and Sky Blue. That's going to be a hell of a match.
That's awesome.
That's some talent.
That
right
is
there,
awesome. And then on Dynamite, Deonna Purrazzo versus Mercedes Martinez for the Ring of Honor Women's Championship. Pretty awesome.
That's going to be an awesome match. And yeah, you got to figure Deanna's probably signed with Impact, right? And Mercedes signed with AEW / Ring of Honor.
Yeah. So you think Mercedes?
You know where that title's going? Yeah. Wow.
Yep. Also on Wednesday we get Wardlow versus mystery opponent W. Morrissey. Morrissey. Bobby Fish versus Jeff Hardy in an Owen tournament qualifier.
In case anybody sort of doesn't pay that close attention, W. Morrissey is formerly known as Big Cass in WWE.
Yeah.
I don't think we said that. So, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
They're like, why do these guys keep on talking about Enzo and this and Morrissey? I thought Morrissey was a singer.
I mean, they wouldn't be wrong. Morrissey is a singer.
They'd be true about that. But W. Morrissey.
W. Morrissey, not a singer. Wrestler.
Right.
Formerly.
Actually, big ass.
Yeah. Then we had our main event, Scorpio Sky versus Sammy Guevara. And from the beginning, boos for Sammy, cheers for Scorpio Sky. Great.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was great. Yeah, people want to cheer Scorpio Sky, man. You know, yes, he can be a good heel. I don't want to see it. I see him as a good guy.
He seems like a good dude.
I want to see Paige as a good guy too.
Yeah.
Just give me the Paige from his vlogs, and I'll be into that. You know, because he seems like such a typical dude. But then you put him up like Lance Archer goes backstage, interrupts his vlog, and beats the shit out of him. Boom. Underdog story right there.
There you go.
How great would that be?
That could be something.
Anyway, this match was great. It featured ladders and barbed wire ladders. Other ladders. And Sammy Guevara at one point, he sets up a ladder. It's like too far away. It's like the AI in WWE 2K. It's like too far away from the title. So he goes up the ladder. He has Scorpio Sky down on the ground. And he's like, I can't reach the title. He's batting at it like a cat.
Yeah.
And then he sort of looks at the camera and goes, I'm crazy. And then he does this fucking weird 780, whatever this was.
Yeah, it was like a twisting corkscrew splash, and he might have grazed Scorpio Sky and landed right on his shoulder.
Just everything on his shoulder, which, as you know, was like, a foot away from head.
Yeah.
Which was terrifying.
Yeah.
But he's 26 or whatever he is.
And it seemed like during the commercial break and coming out of that, they were kind of going easy a little bit.
I know, yeah.
Because they came back out of commercial.
Well,
and they had the trainer checking on Sammy on the floor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I guess he was like, yeah, I'm fine. Because right after that, they do that cutter spot where there's that ladder set up in the corner. There's a ladder in the middle of the ring. Scorpio Sky's climbing the ladder to try to get the belt. Sammy try to replicate the spot against Cody. Jumps off one ladder, goes for the cutter. Instead, Sky counters with a cutter of his own.
Yeah.
And then Sky pulls out the barbed wire ladder into the ring. Eventually, he gets Spanish Fly onto that. Sammy pulls Lambert into the ring. Ty gets in it as well. She kicks Lambert like square in the front area.
Oh, with full force, it looked like.
Yeah, it looked like that could have sucked. So Paige Van Zant runs the ring. Her and Ty brawl. They kind of brawl in one corner. Sky and Sammy brawl in the opposite corner. So Scorpio Sky and Paige Van Zant kind of get the better of the brawl. They take them out to celebrate. They get dropped by Ty and Sammy, and then they start making out.
Mm-hmm.
So then Sammy and Ty bring the barbed wire ladder back in the ring. He braces against the ropes. Sky then hits him right there with a flatliner. He climbs up the ladder. Ty jumps on his back. Sammy climbs the opposite side of the ladder. Paige Van Zant jumps on his back. So they're on top of each guy, and Ty and Paige are throwing hands at each other. Eventually, Scorpio Sky's managed to get Ty off. Paige slides down. They kick each other. Sammy gives Scorpio Sky the bird. Scorpio Sky bites his finger.
Oh, yum.
So they start trading punches. Eventually, Sammy knocks Scorpio Sky off the ladder. He starts reaching for the belt. Scorpio Sky dumps the ladder over, sends Sammy into that barbed wire ladder. So he starts climbing. I don't know how that wasn't the finish. That should have been 1,000% the finish. Because 30 seconds later after that spot, Sammy Guevara is springboarding back onto the ladder. So Scorpio Sky has to push him off again. Gets the belt. He is, once again, your TNT champion.
You know, man, I feel your point about him needing to sell that bit a little bit more. I liked it because it was extra drama. It was like, oh, man, really? Come on. And, you know, he's young. He springs back pretty quickly.
I understand that. You could have sold that for, I don't know, 15 more seconds. Just a bit more.
Have Sky bat around a little bit more. Because they know how to milk it up there.
They really do. They really do. So Frankie Kazarian comes down the ring to celebrate. And then you mentioned that Lambert seemed kind of annoyed by his presence.
Yeah, he goes like this.
Yeah.
What are you doing down here? Man, speaking of scary moments, you notice that a half and half QT took during that match? Looked like he landed on his head, squaring his head. Woo! They need to ease up on all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Catch as catch can, please. That's what I prefer.
Yes. Steve wants 2.5 hours of arm bars and hip tosses and such.
Oh, absolutely. You know, the first 5 minutes that FTR match, just that for every match.
First 3 hours. But it needs to be preceded by 25 minutes to just lock up.
Yeah, but also, like, if they could just slow it down. Like, FTR was going way too fast. They were very crisp, very fast.
You want, like, 1/4 speed.
Please, yes. Yeah, because you do go too fast, you might hurt yourself.
Well, and also it's hard to follow, too, when they go too fast.
I can't keep up with it with my slow brain. Oh, man. What say we answer some questions?
Yeah, let's do that.
From our patrons, patreon.com/Steve and Larson. We've also got some highlighted messages here in the Twitch chat.
Indeed.
Mayor of Planet Houston says, which wrestling promotion does Spooky the best? It's not WWE.
No.
They don't do Spooky very good.
No. I'll be honest. I don't really need Spooky in my wrestling.
Does anybody do Spooky good?
Nothing's coming to mind.
Like, probably Impact, but that
yeah.
usually just ends up being cheesy.
Yeah. Oh, Lucha Underground. Lucha Underground was all right.
Did they do Spooky pretty good?
The stuff with Penta and Vampiro, there's some good stuff there.
Yeah. Will Terminator says WCW because of the campiness. That's a completely different thing than spookiness. Yeah. Spookiness and campiness are not the same.
Enforcer says Wrestling Society X. There was literal like warping of time space.
That was pretty spooky.
That was pretty crazy. Ricky Banderas.
They had Teddy Hart. Pretty spooky.
Oh gosh.
Let's see here. Brendan Monroe. Who do you think will team up with Kingston and X-Lax against Jericho Appreciation Society?
That's a good question. Oh, I mean, I said it should be Hernandez and Homicide. I don't know if it will be, but it should be.
Oh, that would be awesome. Didn't Homicide had a match? He had a Mox match, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hernandez can still go. That'd be great. I mean, Kingston did reference them killing people in their past.
I know.
You know.
I know.
I mean, literally homicide.
You know, if that, it'd be cool if it was a blood and guts match. They did it in New York.
Ooh, boy, oh boy.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be pretty stellar. Let's see here.
Cornbread Haas here in the Twitch chat asks, what sort of bonding activity do the Young Bucks and Redragon need to do together to get back on the same page and be the best of friends?
Kyle needs to call his old friend Von Wagner and say, hey, where's that spot in the woods that we used to do morale building exercises?
That didn't work out. That didn't work out well.
And they could do the branch running.
Didn't work out well.
The truck driving.
Didn't work out well,
though. Yeah, that's true. But, maybe try it again and it'll work better. Let's see here. Xavier Gray has some questions about NXT 2.0, which is cool. Asks if we think the Viking Raiders' return to NXT 2.0 was a one-off thing. I think that they're just there to lose to the Creeds.
Yeah, they'll be there next week to lose to the Creeds, and then that'll be that.
Yeah. So it's like a two-off thing.
Yeah.
Oh, man. R. Lopez Ortiz bringing the knowledge here says you can't bleed in NYC.
What about New Jersey? Can New Jersey.
Good question.
That's just across the river. Do it in the Prudential Center.
There you go.
Across the river.
Excellent.
Roz Cody here says, I like how the Ring of Honor TV title gets defended more than any other title on TV lately. Who else should get a shot at the title? Open challenge. Joe's Ring of Honor TV title open challenge.
Yeah, that'd be good. I like that. The Magic Man, Menard. Have him. I'd like to see him in a promo off against Samoa Joe.
Oh, that'd be good.
I get the feeling Joe would have a hard time not cracking up.
I know, that would be tough.
Menard is hilarious.
You want
You want
to taste.
to taste? I mean, that gum was just off the charts tonight.
Yep.
Shavon, who do you guys think will become a world champion first? Wheeler Yuta or Wardlow? Is the pure title not considered a world title?
I mean, if it's AEW championship, it's Wardlow.
Yeah, it'd be Wardlow. If it's Ring of Honor world title, it'd be Wheeler Yuta.
Dang MQ, hopefully Deanna is the start of many knockouts appearing in AEW. The Forbidden Door needs to help the women's division. That'd be great. I know Britt wants a match with Deanna Purrazzo.
Ooh, that'd be good. That'd be a good one. Moses Opposed has a great question. With the hint from William Regal that people can get kicked out of the Combat Club, who's the first to go? I still feel like Danielson will probably turn on Mox at some point.
Yeah, but I feel like Regal will stick with Danielson rather than Mox.
Right, so Mox will get kicked out.
Yeah.
We don't need you, son. War Machine MJ. So we've got QT Marshall instead. He's joining the Combat Club. We're better now. Let's see here. War Machine MJ says, the Blackpool Combat Club are opening a dojo, and they ask you to choose between Chris Hero, Thatcher, or Lance Storm as the head trainer. Oof. Who do you choose?
I mean, Thatcher.
For me, it's
Thatcher is the one that fits with the kind of philosophy seemingly the most.
Oh, it's Thatcher.
You can't go wrong with any of them, though.
How about this? They kick Mox out. They bring Thatcher in, but they say, all right, son, you're in the club, but you're being renamed Mox 2.
All right.
John Moxley 2.
Yeah.
El Hijo del John Moxley.
There you go.
Yeah. He's like, I don't want to do that. I'm from Sacramento. Anyways, that's going to do it for us. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. We appreciate it. Who's bringing this up here? Anthony Tobias is bringing up the Mexican pizza from Taco Bell coming back.
What?
So word has it, it's May 19th, but you can't say anything. I got that on the down low.
All right.
From the guy at my local Taco Bell, but I'm not going to tell you which one because I don't want that guy to get in trouble.
I know which one it is. I can tell
May
you which
19th. Should I do a review of the Mexican pizza on
sure, why not?
Friendo Club TV?
Why not?